This is the Mid-Morning Show.
Well, karibu sana. Thank you so much for joining us right here at Afarmers Media. Tumerudi, we are back again on air, and actually we had gone for a break, but we are right back. I don't know where exactly you're watching from, but karibu sana mpenzi mtazamaji. And of course, kama kawaida, we always discuss various issues and touching on agriculture. And just right on the mid-morning show, we are discussing about food loss and food waste. And of course, I'll be expecting some of your comments and feedback, what you think about our topic of discussion. Now, pia on set we have a different guest coming on. We have Samuel Mwangi, who is an agronomist. He will be joining us via a call later on the discussion. And of course, right seated next to me is Bwana Nona Siale. Right with me, right here.
Umenita bwana nikaa nini?
Yeah, much welcome to the show, sir.
Sante.
And of course, we're discussing matters to do with food security and food loss and the food waste. We've seen there's a difference between food waste, there's a difference between food loss. Na tukiangalia sana sana food waste, it's all about this is the extra food that you throw away after tumekula, tumeshiba, and not forgetting that hii ni chakula inatoka kwa mkulima hapo nyumbani.
Yes.
And again, food loss, we maybe slightly understand this is food where we're having it lost in between the harvesting time before it reaches the consumer and everyone else in the market. Labda Noah, maybe you can just start by a simple introduction of yourself and maybe talk to us all about food waste and food loss. What do you think about it? Now, so far we've seen like 1.3 billion tons of food are thrown away like yearly. So what do you think about that?
Well, for those who don't know me, I'm a breakfast host and also a farmer, 15 years counting, just about to start the 16th year. The issue about food wastage and food losses, I think it's an issue that we bring it on ourselves. We bring it
Why
on
do you say
ourselves
so?
because we already know what is happening. We know that there's a big disconnect between the farmers and the market.
Yeah.
There's a difference between the farmers and the market, but the market is always available. But even when you go to the market, the amount of food that has been lost when they're being packed or unpacked from the trucks is crazy. And so why I say it is an issue that we bring it on ourselves is because number one, even if we're having this discussion, and I think somebody will join us later, is there's a lot of overhype in growing some specific crops. You know, there's already an overhype in growing some specific crops. So if you say that the farmers have to plant tomatoes, it's because somebody has to sell those seeds. Okay?
Yeah.
But if you look at it back in the village, how much food is being wasted? Very, very minimal.
Quite a lot.
I don't know. In the village, I find that people tend to have specific foods for specific purposes, you know. But in the urban and peri-urban areas, we find that now there's a lot of food losses. Even when you look at people who are collecting garbage, a very big chunk of it is food that probably if something had happened before, probably preservation or post-harvest management and either processing, I think this is something that they would have done it better and avoided that. I know it's a big number that has a big number in terms of quantity of food that is wasted, but there are so many other aspects. I believe one of the biggest hype is an overhype in terms of, like, for example, the disconnect that is there in terms of avocados. We find a lot of avocado being thrown away, and yet people are planting thousands and thousands of acres of avocados. So I think it's a good discussion to have, and probably, again, just listening in to what others are saying.
All right, so you talked something to do with the overhype of these commodities, but now looking at the current situation of the farmers, you know, farmers will rush for something which is, they see they're going to get something at the end of selling and at the end of growing it.
Yes.
But do you think maybe the overhype is something which is really contributing to this? Because you find we consume different crops, of course, and I don't think overhype will actually make that certain food become too much for that season.
Look at it this way, very critically.
Yeah.
do all farmers have to plant an acre of tomatoes?
No.
If you are, it's like asking. Why I'm saying it's an overhype is because if you go to a shop, probably a wholesaler who is selling non-food related items, they only stock based on the demand that is getting. You'll not get somebody who is it's in probably in March and they've stocked. I used to do some side hustle that was about branding, you know. So we would only stock items to be branded based on the demand that we are getting, you know.
Yeah.
And so in case there was demand, we would go to a wholesaler, buy the stuff, more t-shirts and stuff to come and brand. Okay.
Yeah.
So in farming, you find that farmers are planting 3 acres of cabbages, but they are not sure how that will be sold. And I'm not saying that don't plant 3 acres. Can you do half an acre every week? So that when you start harvesting, you can harvest quantity that can be sold, disposed easily, while you still support what is happening on the farm. And the other thing, I think it also comes in with ignorance in terms of the part of farmers.
Yeah. And
ignorance is because they've been told this tomato can yield 90 tons. 90 tons times 60 shillings is 540,000.
Yeah.
Unakumbuka kama mkulima, hiyo itanitoa mbali. Hiyo itanitoa mbali. Oh, onions do an acre will give you 15 tons. It can even go 20 tons. 20 tons times 60 shillings, that's 1.2 million shillings times 4 acres. Otaniweke.
Yeah.
Then you can't sell. Then apart from selling, also the quality of the produce that has been overproduced, a big chunk of it is not marketable in terms of it's not grade 1. Yeah.
All right. Now, the thing of food waste, food loss is not a thing of yesterday. It's not a thing we've seen yesterday. It's something which has been happening over and over again.
Yes.
But do you think maybe what are some of the mitigation measures maybe you think we can play along with to reduce this wastage?
Najua tumetoka kwa msimu wa siasa.
Absolutely.
Na kuna watu walikuwa nasema tuambiane ukweli.
Yeah,
so we have to tell each other the truth. Number one, as a farmer, you don't have to plant an acre of crops every time. No, you can do a part of it, probably a quarter an acre every week or every 2 weeks. At the end of it all, you're saving your cost of production, but at the same time you're also managing your expectations in terms of going to the market. So hii ni vitu lazima tuangalie vizuri. We see what is working well, what is not working well.
Yeah.
The other thing is over-reliance on specific crops for market.
Yeah.
You know, when I say that, I mean we have been told that for you to be a farmer, to be recognized as a farmer, I mean niko huko pia, you have to plant high value crops. These high value crops ni kitu kama tomatoes, onions, watermelon,
Yeah,
you know, capsicum.
Spinach. Name them.
Let me ask you,
The list is
how much
endless.
capsicum can you eat?
Just like very
Exactly.
Just kidogo
So,
sana,
so
just
why not? How many times do you see capsicum in your food every day?
just once a while.
That tells you that produce cannot be overproduced unless you're doing it for kama watu wa betting, ile unasema weka yote pata potea. You know, weka unasema nini kuwekelea?
Yeah.
Wamewekelea. But you can't do that in farming. You'll become poor. You will close that shamba and sell it. Yeah.
All right, and thank you so much. That is very interesting and sharing insight on that. Now, how does food loss and the food waste affect our climate? Because actually, we've seen the climate transiting. It has not been the same over the years. We've seen sometimes we're having rainy season. Other times the rainy season might skip. But do you think this has affected the food loss and the food waste sector, and how has it impacted it?
Yeah, definitely. Yesterday I attended a meeting, and one of the things that was being discussed is basically the quality of seeds that we have. The quality of seeds that we have is not in line, is not in sync with the climate that is there right now.
Yeah.
And you find that we have a lot of seed, yes, and I will tell you for sure, yes, we have good seed, but the climate has changed. So if it was a maize that was taking 4 months probably, that maize that was taking 4 months is something that we have to ask ourselves, are we being honest? because there's no more rains that can sustain maize for 3 months in the farm, you know.
Sure.
So can we get new seed variety that is drought tolerant and can take still that 3-4 months, but still yield properly? Because you see, the problem is that when you actually have produce that is not of good quality because of the weather, then you're not farming. You're just a hobby.
Absolutely. And just to, there is a certain sentiment someone just sent on Twitter, and it says that when you look in common sites and posh places, you find like these people have fruits trees, and the fruits end up rotting on the trees. And yet there's another person who go to Rukana, they cannot afford even a single thing. What comes to your mind?
I think there's a very big disconnect, John. You know, honestly speaking, let's be very honest. There's some food that can be eaten by other people. For example, a very good example, even if you go to the coast, they will eat more rice than ugali. Yes, there are some of us who will still eat ugali at the coast. But I've just remembered, when I go to coast, do I ever eat ugali? Okay, anyway. As in, yes, that is a topic that we need to ask. But remember, when we were growing up, we always used to be told, usitupe chakula, kuna watoto wanalala njaa.
Absolutely.
Okay?
Yeah.
So if you talk about somebody in Turkana who cannot be able to get food because food is being wasted elsewhere, we need to ask ourselves, do we share the same taste buds?
No.
The other thing is, this particular fruit trees that we're talking about are being grown all over. Yeah?
Yeah.
And the hottest for me is avocado. You find avocado plants everywhere. In fact, I visit
different varieties.
You visit your mom anakupatia. You visit my dad and anasema zilikuwa mingi, hata ametoa mbegu, doing some seedlings. But why are we still saying this, and yet we are still encouraging farmers to keep on growing like acres and acres, hundreds of acres of the same avocados? Why don't we just go and now buy from the farmers who already have?
Yeah.
So that is for me what I say. Yes, as much as we want to make sure that we are saying the truth about this food, let us also be very objective in terms of what is food wastage. Yes.
All right, and thank you so much. That argument forms our basis of this conversation at this point. And of course, we are going for a quick commercial break. We'll be back much with more to discuss about the food waste and food loss, of course. And when we come back, and of course, we'll be getting to that information, and of course, an interview with Samuel Mwangi, who will be joining us just in a few. Meanwhile, bye for now.
This is food waste. This is pure food waste you can see here. Lakini leo tumeweza kupeleka some of this good produce. Kabla ijaribika tupeleke people who need it more. Are you happy about the initiative?
I'm very happy because today I feel I have touched somebody's heart. The way I see in the TV, people suffering, and we are throwing food away here in Melo. Today I have given away the food I have given away. It is going to help somebody and to save their hearts.
Our main objective is to we cannot tolerate anymore food to rot in farms, lying everywhere. There's no prices, there's no logistics, and people are still starving in Marsabit.
Umerudi na kitu kadogo mfukoni?
Yes, even me I have nimepata kitu kidogo niko kwa mfuko, na ile chakula nimenunulia yule mkulima huko somebody pia amepata kitu huko machinani. Kwa hivyo nimefurahi sana.
Unataka kuambia wakulima aje sasa hivi?
Kama ingewezekana wa join this food campaign to Marsabit.
This is the Mid-Morning Show with Noah Nasiali Kadima.
So I'll take you through the parts of a beehive, and I'll use the Langstroth beehive just to show you, even if you decide to use a carpenter, what a carpenter should give you to be able to make a proper beehive. So as I mentioned earlier, this is the Langstroth beehive, and we have one with the deep super and one with the standard super. So the components are basically the same. So if you look at this is a brood box. A brood box is where the queen lays the eggs. This is where the colony lives. And this is where, when the queen, here we do not find, this is where the queen lives. And here we find 3 types of bees inside. We have the drone, we have the worker bees, and we have the queen. The queen will lay the eggs here, and the colony will multiply in here. But then the worker bees will move up to be able to store the honey, which we will harvest. Normally we do not harvest honey from the brood box, because that one, whatever little honey is there, we leave it for the bees to consume. And then again, it's mixed with a lot of pollen and wax, so we really don't like harvesting it. In between the brood box and the super box, we have a queen excluder. This, you should ensure that the queen excluder is even. And again, it has to be galvanized so that it doesn't rust. Just as the way Noah had mentioned earlier, that sometimes you get these frames rusty. We also have the plastic queen excluder, which you have an option of acquiring when you're buying the beehives. So after you've seen what is inside the brood box, I have to put this down here. Our brood boxes come, that's a frame. And all frames are fitted with pure beeswax inside. This beeswax is not manufactured by humans, or it's not industrial. This is manufactured by the bees. You will see how we even process it and then put it in the hives. So all the frames, all the frames here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 frames, are all fitted with pure beeswax. And then again, there's wire that supports the wax. So the wax is well fitted in the groove in here to support the beeswax. So this is what will attract the bees in the hive. So after that, there's a queen excluder. We have queen excluder. The queen excluder is placed when the colony is full, when the hive is full of colony and you want to place your super box. So you'll come and place your queen excluder. Fits perfectly on the brood box, as you can see. And all the holes are uniform and the wire is galvanized. And then after that, you'll come and place your super box. This is a deep super, as I mentioned, because I get questions, why is that box so big? So you come and place your super box. That's when you place the super box, you place the super box when the brood box is already full. The frames are being built, the bees are built the frame up to at least 9 to 10 frames. 9 to 10 frames, because those are 11 frames. So after you place your super box, you make sure it fits correctly, it fits right. Then you come and place your roof on it. You come and place the roof. It's very vital to have a roof that is well fitted. I will show you how a standard roof should look like. Look at this roof. This roof is properly insulated with plywood. This controls heat in the hive. Imagine building a roof with just without the insulation. The heat that is retained in the hive will be too much. So that if you look at the roof, well made, fits on the hive. Perfect. So that's how a complete hive should look like. Whichever way you decide to go and get your Langstroth beehive, please make sure whoever is making your beehives meet those simple standards, and the most key is getting the dimensions. If you just zoom inside this hive, you will see the spaces in between are equal. There's no big, there's no small. The top bars are the same. Both, if you check, the brood box and the super box are fitted with pure beeswax, and the embossed cells are for the African bees. Just the right size for the African bees. All the frames are embossed. All the wax in the frame are embossed. And please remember, keep in mind, it's pure beeswax, and that's how you'll be able to attract your hives in the beehive. I know you'll ask me why the two different colors. Green is our corporate color, that's why we use it. But any reflective color can be used to paint the hives. This one was an order that we had done previously for a customer who preferred to have the hive in its natural form, to see the wood. In its natural form, as you can see, this timber is treated. The moisture content is below 13 in this timber. Very key again when somebody is making for your beehive. So if you notice, for durability purposes, we had to treat this timber for termites to keep off the termites and being attacked by other insects. This one, as I mentioned, green, any reflective color you can use. You can use white, you can use yellow, you can use lilac, you can use purple, those reflective colors. And the bees are attracted to this bright color. So as already explained, this is a Langstroth beehive, well made. You can also contact us if you're interested in keeping bees and acquiring a Langstroth beehives. We are located on Mombasa Road, along Kiangombe Road, right behind Ramtons. The first go down on your left. And you can also call us, reach us on the telephone numbers below the screen. You can call us on the numbers you are seeing below the screen, and you can also visit our website www.apicultureventure to find out more about what we do, how we work with farmers, and just to see how we can work together to make beekeeping a better project and there's some food for you.
This is the Mid-Morning Show. This is the Mid-Morning Show.
And of course, welcome back to the show. It is exactly 26 minutes past 10 a.m. And of course, thank you so much for keeping it mid-morning right here at Afarmers Media. And thank you so much. We are discussing about food loss and food wastage. And of course, as I earlier on introduced to you, my guest Samuel Mwangi, who will be joined, an agronomist who will be joining us via a phone call. And of course, Noah, who is right here with us. And of course, we are just joined by Jackie Moore. Thank you so much for joining us just in the middle of the show.
This topic is very,
Jackie,
very interesting.
let the emotions up.
Topic,
Let the emotions.
I just had to come and contribute because
Yeah.
there's no, you cannot be telling us whatever you're saying.
No, don't
Thanks
be
for
emotional.
having me. Thanks for having me and accepting me.
Usikue emotional.
To come to your show.
All right, great. So we're talking about food loss and of course food waste. We've had just a look at the food waste. Now we're looking at the food loss, and of course we understand it's all about the food loss. It's all about the activities that the farmer does to make the food get lost in between the harvesting period and reaching the consumer. So Jackie, from your point of view, what do you think what can be done to avoid the food losses and all that, because people are getting angry and people are dying out of anger day and day? So what's the point of
But
it?
even before I respond to the question on what can be done, I first want to know.
Sema tu.
There's that story we saw that was done by one of the medias
Yes.
on fruits rotting in most of, not even, they mentioned the posh estates.
Mm-hmm.
but
Yes.
fruits get rotten in most of the farms because of one or two reasons.
Yeah.
One is
What
because-
reason? Not one or two.
There are many
Wakati ya
reasons.
election,
There are
Nisha,
many reasons.
tell us specifically
There are
because
many reasons.
Aya.
No, he's saying it's an overhype.
Yes.
On some of the crops. It's not.
Yes.
It's not. Why?
No, we have facts
Why do
here.
you say so?
It's not overhype. It's, first of all, I've said there are many reasons, but may I have two. It's
Okay.
because of ignorance. And
Jackie,
ignorance and lack of awareness.
Jackie, how many
Ignorance.
farmers have you visited who grow tomatoes?
Many farmers.
How many grow onions?
There are many farmers.
How many grow cassava?
Few.
How many
Yeah.
grow sweet potatoes?
Many.
How many grow rice?
Few.
Where is food wasted? Have you ever seen sweet potatoes wasted? Have you ever
Very
seen
rare.
cassava wasted? Have you ever seen maize wasted? Let us be very objective. What is wasted is what we have been told plant, it has market. Everything has market. Tell me of a farmer who has grown cassava and has wasted that food. How many cassava do you find thrown all over?
But how many cassavas can a farmer grow?
You see, it's,
Take one.
No, but see, that's
take
what I'm
one
saying.
Plant of, one
That's
plant
what I'm saying.
Of,
Do you know when it comes
avocado,
to
how many fruits does one tree of avocado produce?
More than even
More than
12.
1,000.
So why do we have to plant 10,000 plants and yet avocado is going wasted? That's what for me I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Because the person who is making money is not the farmer. It's the person selling seedlings. I'll tell you for sure.
Yeah, we can
The
say
person who's
that-
selling seedlings
yeah,
is the one who's making the money.
yeah.
So wewe unaenda unapanda miti 10,000 alafu unaanza kuuliza ndiko nataka soko. I'll tell you an example. Yesterday I just posted this because we're looking for cassava farmers. I just posted this. Look at what farmers are saying. I am, where is it? 15 acres ready tuber for harvesting. Ana soko. Aya. Kuna mwingine hapa amesema hapa any links in the talk to. Watu unasikia cassava farmer in Kakamega. Because this is something that it can be produced from the farm. Hautapata kuna cassava imemwagwa mahali ati imeisha. You will not get maize.
That could be a reason, but I think maybe Jackie's point on the ignorance and the
Lack
farmers
of
On the part of who?
on
On
the
the part of
awareness.
the farmers.
Based on what?
Just expound based
Yes.
on what?
Ignorance. Okay, let's
So
take an
you're-
example of the.
so you're
the posh
manipulated.
estates. No, I'm not manipulated. I'm not manipulated.
No, I'm saying the farmers are
I'm
manipulated.
giving an example of, like me when I was growing up, we had 2 avocado trees.
Yes, and that's what.
And they were producing a lot of
And-
avocados.
and those
You
were
eat
enough.
And eat and you get tired. And
So
you
Even
just
share
fall
with
down.
the neighbors and
So
all
pause
that.
there, and that was enough. Isn't
It
it?
was more than enough.
So why are you farmers being told to plant 10,000 acres what you export?
Because Zico improved. Me when I was growing up, we were not eating Hass avocado. We were eating different kinds of avocados.
Are you trying to
And
say
right now, there's no reason for me to eat the usual avocado that I used to eat when there's an improved variety of avocado.
Can I surprise
The
you,
same
Jackie?
thing with mangoes.
Jackie.
Why should I eat the small green mango?
Yeah.
And there's an improved
Lakini kulikuwa
sweet.
now that you've mentioned
Big
kulikuwa na kautamu fulani hiyo. Kwa ukiweka kale kachili.
absolutely it cannot be compared with the
But see,
recent-
so when you
yeah.
say ignorance, because me, I want to understand that ignorance is on the part of who, the farmer, and ignorance based on what?
On part of the farmer. Let's not look at the farmer in the village. Let's look at this farmer
in the
in the
posh
estates.
places and
In
the
the
estates
estates.
Those
and
are
all
not
that.
farmers. Those are people who bought land, and part of the landscaping was a fruit tree.
So how will you call that?
That one is
They
not
own
ignorance.
They own that.
That is not
they
ignorance.
They own that home.
Yes, they own it, but that's not
The
ignorance.
reason why they are ignorant is they're still farmers, Noah.
No.
See, women plant they have their hamburgers in the kitchen garden. They're still farmers, Ama.
Yeah.
So they're still farmers. You have that tree. You've eaten the avocados, and they're more than you can take.
Yes.
You just look at them falling down, and you're like, achana nazo tu.
Lakini as
Tell
yours-
the guy to sweep and make manure out of it.
Which is still okay.
No, it's
Circular
not.
economy.
No, it's
Food
not.
to farm to farm.
We disagree. Why would you throw away those avocados when there's someone mahali flani hana uwezo ya kununua avocado? How much does avocado nini trade at right now? 40 shillings, 50 shillings.
Yeah.
And people are throwing them
But
away.
but avocado in the village, just here in Githunguri, is 4 shillings.
Yeah.
Where is the
and
disconnect?
I think that's the
So
overhype
I
he's
come
talking
all
about.
the way from Nairobi to Githunguri.
Not
to buy
necessarily.
avocado
I'm not
for
saying.
4
I'm not
shillings.
saying that. if these people were to sell to us those avocados, so do you want to say that those people in those posh estates that have avocado plants should
Harvest them
and give it out free of charge?
You can give them as charity, take them to children's homes, or even, actually today I was thinking in the morning, we used to have ile maziwa ya Nyayo.
Yeah,
And it used to be free of charge.
Hata Nyayo apumzike.
It used to be free of charge. Because
Even now they
kulikuwa
still
na-
milk in
kulikuwa
schools.
na supply, hakuna.
Iko.
Wapi?
Mimi watoto wangu wanapanga maziwa.
Group of schools. I don't remember getting milk
Why
again.
don't these guys in the posh estates harvest these avocados
Yes.
or whatever fruits? Just give them to hizo schools zenye ziko tu hapo.
But let me ask that
Instead
question.
of throwing them
So
away.
is the issue what is the issue? Because is it the issue that is in the posh estates, or is it that avocados?
issue
Because
is-
John,
the
when you go back to
issue
the
is
village,
there's food
how
wastage.
much mango is wasted?
A lot.
How much avocado? So let's remove the posh. For me, I'm fighting the issue of the posh.
No, leave
posh
the
estates.
posh, leave the posh.
Yes,
If,
yes.
Even if you
That-
go to
and
Machakos
that- and-
or Makueni or Kisii
and that
or
is why-
wherever, whenever there is that season, they have
So let me ask you.
season,
Uh-huh.
there'll still be food waste.
Let me ask you, Jackie, because we have to be objective. This food wastage, especially in Ukambani and the regions, why is it happening? Because see, we have to also be objective and say, why is it happening?
That's why I said there are many reasons that is causing food wastage. The first example I've given is ignorance, the people in those posh estates. And then there's lack of awareness. There's lack of awareness. Because you have, let's now take these serious farmers who are doing maybe large-scale farming of fruits or
Yes.
Yeah,
mangoes
plantation.
and
Yes.
oranges.
Yes.
And the aggregators, I don't want to call them brokers.
The broker too.
The aggregators come
Just a
and
kind
they
word.
give you low prices.
Uh-huh.
So unasema heri hata hata ziharibike kwa shamba instead of me selling.
But you
Yeah.
And the lack
There
of
is some
awareness
ignorance
comes
on that
in.
point, and
The
especially
lack of
the
awareness
prices.
comes in
Yeah.
at you're waiting for an aggregator who will come and buy at a better
But
price.
you see, we are mixing
Instead of
issues
you-
here.
Instead of you taking it to the market.
No, we're mixing issues. We're mixing the issue of the market. We're mixing issue of transport and logistics. We're mixing the issues of people dying of hunger and posh estates. You know, so for me, the issue is, if you ask farmers who are growing avocados today, and Jackie, me, I want to tell you this for sure, the farmers who are buying avocado seedlings today to grow will not sell those avocados. I am telling you, 3 years from now, you will be telling me, hey, people will be calling in here and asking, muko na soko ya avocado.
Yeah.
How many plants? 6 acres.
I'll prove you wrong.
Because everyone is.
Unless,
at
what
the
I'm saying
moment,
is
has
unless we start asking ourselves, when the avocado is being exported, what is it going to do? Can we do it here? Because
And that's lack of awareness.
it's yes, lack of awareness, yes, but you see, the issue is this lack of awareness based on what? Because lack of awareness is a general term.
Yeah.
I can just come here and vile nimepigiwa leo nikaulizwa aufanyi show nikasema sikuwa najua. That's lack of awareness.
No,
But you see,
communication. Yeah, that's ignorance
Exactly.
and
You see,
miscommunication.
so some of the farmers are also being ignorant.
Yeah.
And not necessarily because it's already out there. The price of cooking oil is so high. How many of those farmers are actually investing or even coming together and say, hey, those of us in these posh estates, each of us has 5 avocado plants that is going to waste. Can we contribute X amount of money? We can use my servant's room there or something that we can do what? We can process this oil. So pia ni kujituma watu wajitumi. So if we analyze it that way, then you realize the food wastage is because we don't want to go to the last mile. We don't want to go all the way. Because if we were to go all the way, then it would mean that we have less avocados rotting and more cooking oil.
Yeah.
But you'll find that avocado is going to waste. I normally don't want to link the food wastage with people facing hunger. For one main reason, some time back we went to Marsabit. And the way back, we came, when we were there, there's a lot of fish, very good fish, and a lot of livestock. In Marsabit, yes. Marsabit, they're in the Lake Turkana, the other side of Lake Turkana.
There's fish in Marsabit.
A lot of fish. In fact, they even have coolers that have been put there. If our producer can actually see some of the pictures, we even took some of the photos there in Marsabit.
Yeah.
A lot of fish that is there. But this food that is being taken to Marsabit as it's called what? Charity food is called what? Yes. Donations.
Yeah, the donations.
Those trucks are coming back empty. Can those trucks come back with dried fish?
Exactly.
Can those trucks? Some of the best breeds of goats are found in Marsabit. You know, the asal areas for obvious reasons.
Yeah.
Can those trucks come back with food? With the what is it called? With the goats. You know, when the goats come these sides, can they be used? The manure, can it be used to start thinking? Can this manure go back to? I mean, they already have the manure there. Can we start using their area to grow? But that to go back to the point I want to address is, we ask these guys, by the way, since we're bringing food, can we bring for you food that you don't need storage but it can last longer? Things like pumpkins. Walituambia, my friend, hiyo hata hatujaiona.
In that county, Marsabit County.
Funny thing, they have the fish,
yeah.
but they're still facing hunger. Are you getting this disconnect?
Yeah.
So it's the same as having avocado tree and still not using it important. So for me, the point I wanted to land is just, let's not mix food wastage and people facing hunger, because probably our taste buds are not the same.
Yeah.
Okay. So if you take bananas,
Okay.
Yeah.
if you take bananas
County,
from Kisii because it's excess,
Yeah.
and take to Mumias, watu wa Mumias watasema tumekula tu kasinaka, tunangoja ugali.
Sure, absolutely.
And people in
something
Kisii
tangible.
are throwing the bananas because wao wameshiba.
Yeah.
You get the scenario. So let us be very objective and ask ourselves, why are we what do we want to solve by bringing up a story of posh estates having avocado and lookouts? My friend, in Ushago, lookouts is so much, mpaka barabara iko yellow.
But no,
Other than the same
that's,
yellow.
for me, I think probably the county governments and the national government is also failing, like all of us, because
Not national government. Basically, it is county government, because
we lack information on all these things.
I tend to think information is there. The only thing is that the people who are giving out this information are giving out in pieces.
Yeah.
And then those who are consuming that information are going to the wrong sources. That is why you find there's gutter press. You get? That's why you find this gutter press. And by the way, if I remove this thing, if I publish something and a story and say 7 things you did not know about Jackie, number 5 will shock you.
Yeah.
People will click it.
Absolutely.
But if you go and write a story and say Jackie is a presenter and all these people, very few people will click on that.
Absolutely.
So it is I've just thought like someone from Western. Let me not say it.
All right.
Yeah. So at the end of the day, for me, I tend to think that we have to do something more than just telling a certain story. Yeah.
So like you feel like the food wastage story was far-fetched?
I'm not saying it's far-fetched. Bring up a story that has an end goal. Don't bring a story that creates not really tension, but posh estates. There's lookouts and avocados. Lookouts and avocados are all over. You know, being in posh estates is just It's just one thing.
They're all over, but
But we need to ask ourselves then. So what next?
Yeah.
Because the thing I was trying to raise, the point I was trying to raise is, I can give an example of Rwanda,
Yeah.
where during the first week of every month, all shops are usually closed, and there's usually general cleaning of the whole country. And during those general cleanings, they usually told grow fruits everywhere along the streets. And even when you're walking in Kigali City, you can pick a mango, or you can pick an avocado. You don't need to buy. That's a way of handling this food loss and wastage.
But now, considering now in
mnajua tu
Kenya,
mnajua tu Rwanda nani yuko huko.
and now in our case here,
But
scenario in Kenya, it's different.
You can see the avocados in someone's house, and you can't enter.
Which
the streets, and you can pick a fruit and eat.
But probably we can also do it in a different way. Probably introduce community markets where you tell people if you have an avocado in your farm and all this. I'm not saying the story was not aired well. I think the story was fine. It was probably a light bulb moment, but probably it didn't land properly, because it would have said, if you are in posh estate and you have this, we have this, can we be able to get from you, you can donate that to this area or something, and not really donate, can that be processed or something like that, you know, because even some of the avocados that are there, honestly, I prefer the fuerte avocados and not the Hass.
At the end of the day, Noah, most of the food is being wasted in many people's farms, and it's not because that people need to come out and tell them that by the way you can give us, and then
let me ask you, Jackie.
Take it to you we'll take it for you to
no for me. I'm
what
saying,
do you think maybe should be done,
or what is causing that food wastage in farms?
Food wastage is partly ignorance on most farmers, and the ignorance comes because they lack awareness. Probably they got into that kind of farming not knowing what to expect. Noah has planted cabbages.
75,000.
75,000 cabbages.
It took me 6 years. It took me 6 years to plant. Nilikuwa napanda cabbage kwa nazari na ngoa. It took me 6 years to plant cabbages on my farm again.
And then where did they go?
But you see, that's what I'm saying. You cannot find me planting 75,000 cabbages again.
Why do you say so?
No, I'm saying
you are sure when I plant this, I'll get this.
But somebody
But
told
you are
me.
not prepared.
Somebody told me, and that's why I'm saying it is an overhype, because sometimes you go to, and I'll take by the way, we'll take this as an experiment. We will actually go to an agrovet and tell the agrovet we have come to buy seeds, but we want seeds for cassava. You'll see that guy. You'll just ask all of us, just separately. You just go and ask. By the way, I have 50,000 shillings. I want to grow something that can give me money. I am so sure 90% will give you tomatoes, onions, watermelon, capsicum. Because that is the business model. Hii ni kitu utauza haraka haraka mtu atengeneze. How much of that tomato go to a dumping site where food has been dumped? What is the percentage? So it's a scenario. There's ignorance, but there's also you know, Kiswahili is very you know,
just put it the way it should be.
No, as in it's ignorance, but sometimes I say ignorance is, I'll use more of an experience. Experience is the best teacher, but it's the best teacher for fools. Because we have seen farmers suffering planting 3 acres of tomatoes. Why don't you plant an eighth of an acre or a quarter of an acre every 2 weeks? You'll still get that money over a longer time. Managing 3 acres of tomatoes versus managing half an acre every week. Different ball game. Amount of food that will be wasted, different as well. Because close to 25 to 30% of 3 acre farm will go to waste. Yes, because you might not be able to feed those tomatoes, so that each cluster gives you X number of fruits of weight. But you find if you do a quarter of an acre or maximum probably an acre, and say I'll do an acre, after 1.5 months I'll do. So niki transplant leo na eka ingine kwa nursery. So that as I do that, nikianza kuuza hii ingine itakuwa imeanza kutokezea. You get the scenario? So when you talk about ignorance, we have to be very specific, because I've been in this game for 15 years, and I'll tell you for sure, I don't think tomatoes, onions, watermelon, and capsicum is high value crops. It's bogus.
It's just for the cash and the fast money, right?
It's just benefiting the person selling the seeds.
So no, so maybe when you start saying that, are you trying to tell farmers to stop growing?
I've not said that.
Where will we get to the tomatoes?
I'm not saying that is a disconnect. I'm not saying stop. I'm just saying, if you look at, you do not get maize wasted. True or false?
Because we have these cooperative societies, people join cooperatives, and maize will be sold to the cereals board.
So you're not seeing it wasted.
Food,
Which one has more demand, tomato or maize?
Maize.
Automatically becomes high value crop because it has higher demand.
But how long does it take on the farm?
You can take ugali. You can take, I'm telling you for sure, you can take ugali and boga without tomatoes.
Absolutely.
But you see, people are looking at these crops that are fast growing, and you get your cash, grow something else.
And move on to the next thing.
Or maize, you can take up
Maize
to 8 months and you're waiting.
No, it depends where you are.
No,
it also depends where you are. And the food wasted is not wasted in areas that have what is it called? It's not wasted in areas that crops take longer. It wasted in areas that crops takes a shorter time. If I plant an acre of maize and take care of 22,000 plants, and you plant an acre of tomatoes, I will make more money than you in 3 months.
Yeah.
Green maize takes 3 months.
All right, thank you
Tomatoes
so
takes
much
3
for really discussing that very issue. And of course, those joining us right now, you can be part of this conversation on Facebook and of course on YouTube. You can send in your questions and comments, and of course I'll be sampling them. Now, moving to food loss. You've heard about the food loss, and of course there is more attributed to the food that is lost in after harvesting, maybe just due to poor handling and the transport, logistics and all that. For you, Jackie, what do you think maybe we should do to reduce this food loss? Because actually it is something that has stayed in the farm for quite a while. It has used your time, your money and all that, but we find it's getting lost, especially at the point where we're getting it to the consumer. So what do you think should be done?
I don't think probably what I can say is we need to have, I usually point out on the county governments, they need to come up with strategies of how farmers need to handle post-harvest management. Like here in the talk just here.
Yes.
Most of the onions and the tomatoes, mostly tomatoes, they go bad like on all year round.
Yeah.
Because Oloitoktok is known for tomato farming. And Jacqueline Coin some other time was like they are putting up a cold storage building to store the tomatoes, and probably they put up a value addition on tomatoes. And I think some of these things, even if we can handle food wastage, but we cannot handle
again,
food loss.
Jackie,
we cannot control food loss.
You see
because
what?
If we talk about value addition,
But value addition,
this processing is
guys,
usually
Jackie,
very
before you
expensive.
continue,
It's very expensive.
remove value addition from farming. In fact, detach kabisa.
I know about.
Okay, let me ask you a question. I mean, with all due respect to Bidco are not farmers,
Sure.
but they're supplying us with cooking oil.
They have the machinery.
That's what
You
I'm
can
saying.
imagine
No,
a
I'm
planted
saying.
canola.
No. What I'm saying is,
where will I get-
why I'm saying separate is because a farmer is a producer.
The one
The
on
other one
ground,
is a
right?
manufacturer. Totally different. Separate them kabisa.
No.
That is why
I
we are
cannot
exporting avocados to China.
I cannot-
You want to tell me China cannot grow the avocados?
They don't have space.
What do you mean they don't have space? I was actually talking to somebody yesterday.
They have space for
I was actually
making
talking to
machines.
somebody yesterday, and they said that Zambia has
Yeah.
leased out close to 20, subject to confirmation, 20 to 30,000 acres to Rwanda to grow.
Okay.
You get scenario. So if you look at it very critically, manufacturing and production are two separate things. Very separate. That is why we have tomato paste coming from China and we don't have tomato paste being made here in Kenya. Because cost
Absolutely.
of production,
I'm trying to get the point, because we are trying to find a way of controlling food loss at the farm.
food loss at the farm is basically what I am talking about. Do not grow beyond what you can sell at any given time.
But again,
Don't-
How
yeah.
will you know? How will you know?
But again, Noah,
Do-
you
do
see,
an
it's all
eighth
about
of-
the handling and the final logistics and the transport to the market.
I totally agree that. But for example, I have planted 3 acres of. You know, one thing that farmers don't do is that we are hyped. Tunaingia tunalima, tunapanda vitu. But if you look at it very critically, how much food can you sell as a farmer at any given time? Grow that one. Because you are looking at your market. So umeangalia soko yako. So if I am in a place called Namanga, I need to look at how many people around here can buy my produce. Before I even take transport niende BC, I'm just in Namanga. Let me grow that consistently so that every time that people want tomatoes, whether the price is high or low, I am controlling kuna watu wanakuja wananunua kwangu. But if I make a mistake of producing more, then challenge ya transport nipeleke Bisil kuna mtu ametoka Moi ameleta hapo. Nipeleke Kajiado, nilete Kitengela. I'm using time, money, broker wanaingia, so I give up. I give up.
Absolutely.
Whatever happened to the cooperative societies and farming groups?
Politics entered. That was the only thing. The political wing used the cooperatives to manipulate farmers because they knew if I work with this cooperative movement, I have this.
Kuna disclaimer. Kuna disclaimer.
No, it's true to some extent, because you find, look at the unions, look at the teachers' unions, look at most of these cooperatives, and they've been manipulated somehow, because that is why unasikia wameitwa mahali nini, unasikia kuna nyumba juu ya mlima fulani wameitwa. You know, at the end of the day, these cooperatives cannot be managed by people who are not actual practicing members of that. For example, if I am part of a beekeeping cooperative union, yes, I have to be a beekeeper. I have to learn so many things about it, you know. But the purposes of it is not to collect money and membership. It has to be make sure that cooperative movement tunatengeneza bees, not bees, honey value addition. We are training other farmers. We are recruiting other farmers with an end goal of looking for market for this. Not only honey. Remember, you cannot just come from a cooperative to sell honey.
Yeah.
What are the byproducts of honey? You know, how many other people need this honey? How many people need the good oil that comes from honey products? Yes, elephant repellent. Beehives are also being used as an elephant repellent. And you see there's an overhype of, you know, you need this kind of beehives. I went another place and I got beehives that are made from logs and are even producing more than the normal beehives.
Yeah, they're the traditional ones. Yeah.
Yes, and those traditional ones are even producing more and are better than even some of the top science related research companies are encouraging farmers to use those ones. So ukiambia mkulima unaenda kwa mkulima hapa unapata amenunua hizi top Kenya top or something 40 na hazina nyuki. Na hiyo mwingine kwa juu ya mti na iko na nyuki. Obviously there's a disconnect. Wanaambiwa, you know, hii haitakufanya, haitakuwa hivi. So let us tell farmers the truth. Tuambiane ukweli. Don't overhype things. Tulikuja tukaambiwa hybrid seeds, you know, panda nyanya nini, how come you don't see those adverts?
But the reason why I'm asking about the cooperative societies is because there's a lot that can be achieved once you join a group. Inasemekanga inapanga kidole moja haiwi chao. When you're gathered in like, you don't really need to join like a bigger cooperative society that is known, but why are farmers scared to form their own?
No, we're just selfish, not scared. We're just selfish. Let me tell you, farmers are so selfish that nikikuwa na hii dawa ya kupiga natoa hii label ndio neighbor yangu asijue. Instead of us agreeing, wewe panda an eighth of an acre leo, wewe mwingine apande kesho, mwingine kesho kutwa hivyo. When these guys come to buy, they come to us. Kila mkulima anataka kupeleka yake sokoni peke yake. Na ajui hiyo soko utaenda nayo pick up uko na kilo 200, neighbor yako iko na kilo 300. Mkishikana ongeze mafuta, you're going to the market.
All right, so thank you so much for that, and of course
we'll pigia kelele leo hiyo kawaida to my friend.
Yeah, thank you for really expounding that topic. And actually I think so, finally, what do you think we will achieve after making sure that the food loss and the food wastage is not really happening to our farmers and all the stakeholders?
First of all, before we even go and say what we can achieve, basically we have to ask ourselves, why is this happening? And one of the things, as Jackie has mentioned, is ignorance and lack of unity. I'll say ignorance and lack of unity, because you'll find 10 different agronomists visiting 10 different farmers who are neighbors. Okay?
Yeah.
Because number one, every farmer does not want to share what they're getting from this guy or this lady, you know. And as if you look at that discussion, you find that these farmers are just doing the same thing, growing the same thing: nyanya, kitungu, watermelon, capsicum. Chances are most of them are growing that. You will find the other farmers who know the market well. Wale wakulima wanakuanga na ile blackie, unajua ile black mamba, ile bike. Na ama boda or motorbike, sorry. Utapata hawa wakulima wanapanda spinach, sukuma, managu, terere. They go with one sack every day to the market. Every day to the market. You will not find any food being wasted in that farm. So there's no food loss technically. Yeah. But utapata mkulima mwingine anapanda nyanya, anafika mahali anasema chekae bana. Amejaza nyanya kwa boot.
All right.
Okay?
Yeah.
So what we can do is that probably start sensitizing farmers and asking farmers, are you really growing the right thing for the right market?
Yeah.
You know, if I stay in an estate that has 140 houses, can I grow something for 140 houses? That is, as I'm doing calculation, unajua hii uzee imeanza kuingia kidogo. If you grow, if you grow and say you have an estate takes probably 140 houses, lakini watu wa estate wanangi kutoka bandirani, but let's assume 140 houses. What why I picked 140? Kama nile 140,000. Let's pick 200 houses. Of those 200 houses, 100 buy from you.
Yeah.
Tomatoes twice a week. Kilo moja Jackie akaya anapikanga. How many kilos of tomatoes do you, a household of 4 people use every week? 2 kilos.
Every week?
I'm one.
No. Let's say just 3 kilos.
3 kilos.
Let's join Tanya na 2 kilos. So 100 houses times 2 kilos, that's 200 kilos every week. If you sell at 60 shillings, you have 12,000. 12,000 times 4 months, 4 weeks, 48,000. 200 kilos, you need a room like this one. Why? Yes. Why do you go and now start growing 3 acres? Na hata una pick up, transport, shamba kwanza kufika kwa shamba ni mbali. Don't put for yourself stress that you cannot manage. You will find this 48,000 shillings times, let's assume you harvest for 4 months. That's 192,000 shillings.
Yeah. And then remove the cost, the fertilizers, the
in standard, yes.
Yeah.
So if you have an acre of land, here is enough. Unachukua an eighth unaweka nyanya, an eighth capsicum. Ujama pendi capsicum, sijui kwa nini. An eighth watermelon. You know, watermelon 200 plants, you need less than an eighth of an acre. 200 plants. 200 plants, if you manage those fruits very well, assuming 150 survive. Watermelon, I don't know who made watermelon does not survive. Times 2 plants, times 150 plants, times 2 fruits each, you get 300 fruits.
Yeah.
If each fruit gives you 5 kilos, you have 1.5 tons. That's less than an eighth of an acre.
Yeah.
Enda kwa kitunguu sanjo kizungumkuti kidogo, but kitunguu it's advisable half an acre and above, you know. So uko na eighth water, so you're constantly in the market. The secret in business, which now it has to be the secret in agribusiness, is consistency in the market. John, uko na nyanya leo? Ndio. John, uko na nyanya leo? Ndio. Lakini the moment uko na nyanya leo, John, hapana, itakuwa ready in 1 week. That buyer is no longer your buyer. Sure. It's like kama nyuki. Nyuki ikikuja mahali kupata safe land, kuna maji nini, itatengeneza honey. Ikikuja ikutane na hakuna maji, hakuna maua,
it goes away.
That is how buyers are. So if you're doing agribusiness, consistency is better than production. So if you're producing, make sure your production is consistent. That is why kuna wakulima ukienda kwa soko wanafungwanga gunia 2 ya either 2 ama 3 sukuma, spinach, managu. Every day these guys in the market, every day. Na hiyo gunia moja ya sukuma, I think it's around 90, let's assume 90 kilos. Yeah, no, 60 kilos. 60 times 3 gunias, that's 180 kilos.
Yeah.
Ukiuza na 30 bob, huyu jamaa yuko na 5,400 daily. Assuming atafanya for 20 days in a month. That's 108,000. He's making more money than you growing tomatoes.
But then no, I
That's
think
clean money,
people
sure.
are misinformed. Then where can someone get this kind of information? Because
Afarmers
people
media.
wake up in the
Absolutely.
Piga simu 0700.
Right, so
morning.
thank you so much, guys, for
They don't even know where to get this information. I can actually plant
No,
an eighth and eighth and eighth
Jackie,
and do the math and see.
Farmers have, and they know, but we are just greedy.
Yeah.
Unaangalia, if
We
an
don't
eighth of
want
an
to share
acre
information.
can give me 108, then you got 2 acres. So if this can give me this in a week, if I do it in 3, and you cannot manage that,
You cannot manage.
that's the problem.
Yeah.
We all want children. Mimi mama yangu alikuwa anasema alikuwa anataka watoto 10. Mimi nimekuja hapo kidogo lakini kama siwezi ninasema acha tutulie kidogo, let's manage this, you know. So And then you get somebody who does not have somebody a farm manager or farm supervisor ana knowledge. So hata ukipeana hiyo vision hakuna mtu ataki kuonekana timie. I talk to many farmers. If you ask them what do you grow, very few say I grow managu. They want to say I grow tomatoes, capsicum, watermelon.
All right. So thank you so much for really sharing information about the food loss and the wastage. I know farmers are going to grab something and make sure that they implement that to the latter. And of course, we're taking a quick break right here on Afarmers Media. Keep watching, and of course, we'll be back with Agribiz Outlook. Thank you.
This is the Mid-Morning Show.
Papai ni moja ya tunda mashuhuri kwa kiasi kikubwa nchini Kenya. Pia tunda hili linaweza kuwa na faida mbali na afya katika kukuza uchumi wa mkulima wa zao hili. Pia linaweza kuwa chanzo kikubwa cha pesa za kigeni kwa kuuza nje ya nchi. Uzalishaji wa papai nchini Kenya ni kwa kiasi kidogo ukilinganishwa na mahitaji ya watumiaji. Hivyo inahitajika nguvu zaidi katika uzalishaji wa zao hili. Zao hili limeshamiri kote nchini kwa kutoa mavuno bora. Ungana nami niweze kufahamisha bayana na kwa undani kuhusu zao hili la paipai.
This is food waste. This is pure food waste you can see here. Lakini leo tumeweza kupeleka some of this good produce. Kabla ijaribika tupeleke people who need it more. Are you happy about the initiative?
I'm very happy because today I feel I've touched somebody's heart. The way I see in the TV, people suffering, and we are throwing food away here in Melo. Today I have given away the food I have given away. It is going to help somebody and to save their hearts.
Our main objective is to we cannot tolerate anymore food to rot in farms, lying everywhere. There's no prices, there's no logistics, and people are still starving in Marsabit.
Na umerudi na kakitu kadogo mfukoni.
Yes, even me, nimepata kitu kidogo niko kwa mfuko, na ile chakula nimenunulia yule mkulima huko Sambole pia amepata kitu huko machinani. Kwa hivyo nimefurahi sana.
Unataka kuambia wakulima aje sasa hivi?
Kama ingewezekana wa join this food campaign to Marsabit.
This is the Mid-Morning Show. This is the Mid-Morning Show.
All right, welcome back to the program. It is exactly 10 minutes top of the hour at 11 a.m. and thank you so much for keeping it Afarmers Media. It is the mid-morning show, and of course we're discussing about the food loss and food wastage towards food security. And of course it is a discussion that is getting heated up, and of course will be joined later on the discussion by an agronomist by the name Samuel Mwangi, who will be sharing insight about that. And of course, before we get deeper into the conversation, I would just like to look at the Agribiz Outlook news that are trending currently, and of course with our panelists will be giving some insights on the same. Now currently the newly elected government of the Federal Republic of Somalia has opened its market to the lucrative Miraa trade. And now speaking at the Kagwe Tigania West, Agriculture CS Honorable Peter Munya said the lauded efforts by President Uhuru Kenyatta. He has further confirmed that a delegation from the Somalia would be visiting the country to make plans and how we are going to export the Miraa to that country, and of course formalize this and other economic agreements. And I'd just like to hear your comment, Bwana Noah. It's we're getting started to importing, not really importing, but exporting Miraa to Somalia.
Jaba.
What do you think?
Jaba.
Cat.
Jaba. Cat.
Guka. So what do you think about this?
I think it's a market that can be. I rarely talk about. I call the controversial crops.
But it's a cash crop, right?
It is becoming a cash crop, but in terms of managing, I mean, it's already growing in the area.
Yeah.
I think the chances are, if it is generating revenue for the farmers, let it be in an organized way, so that there is more than just the money, and probably beyond production of the product. Yeah, so I think it's something that I rarely comment on controversial crops. So
just on that, just before we move to the next, you see, it is something which is new and of course being introduced into the industry.
You know, it has been there. It was there for some time, then it was banned because of the conflict that was there in the borders.
But now that we've seen President Uhuru Kenyatta rallying behind it, do you think now it's time for farmers to really now start doing it at the moment? Because
they're doing it. They're already doing it in I mean, I've been to the areas that this crop grows, and they're doing it. The only thing that probably they can now transform it and make it into a bigger way of doing it, probably in terms of the harvesting. We see those those cars plying the route, coming from Meru, going all the way to Mombasa, and how they're driven, probably having controls of such things.
Yeah.
But being a crop that is being exported and generating revenue, probably it would be nice to see how are the farmers benefiting from it. What other things can they be able to do with the money that they're getting? Because it's huge.
Yeah.
It's huge. The money coming from that is huge.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, now moving on. Now Kenya rolls out innovation for rural transformation, and now among 3 countries in the region implementing a project that is strengthening the knowledge and innovation in the ecosystem for inclusive rural transformation and livelihoods in the Eastern Africa. It is a project which is being carried out in Kenya, Uganda, and Rwanda, and it's geared to achieve sustainable agricultural livelihoods and rural transformation by fostering and inclusive of innovation environment. Now, just on that, before we move to the next story, looking at the ground and so far where farmers are now, do you think it is something which is going to be adopted by farmers and adjustable with these innovations and rural transformation?
Yes, the only thing that I look at innovation and rural transformation from a very simplistic way of view. There's no need of making it into something huge, something that adaptation becomes hard, because any innovation that you come across or you develop as a developer, as an innovator, what matters is the end user of that particular solution. So that has to be factored in. We have seen quite a lot of even mobile apps for farming, but since data might be expensive, then you find that people are not using it. So it has to be simplified so that the common farmer can be able to adopt, but not just adopt. They have to see how they are saving money using it.
Yeah. All right, thank you so much on that. And now just to our last story before we get deeper into the conversation all on food loss and food wastage. The Kenya National Chambers of Commerce and Industry and Dubai-based event organizer exhibitors are set to host an agro-food park exhibition which seeks to scale up growth in the country's agribusiness sector. And now, according to Julius Opio, the Nairobi's chapter chairman, the event is part of the chamber's commitment to enhance inter-county trade by helping local small businesses interact with foreign countries and also tap into the technological process. It is an event which is set for a 3-day expo, and it will happen on September 2nd to the 4th in Nairobi, and has attracted investors from various agricultural chains, including agro, dairy, and poultry, and the grains, the storage, the food, flavors, and all that. So it is an agro food park model, which is of its own kind, but of course happening in Kenya, just as it happens in each and every year. So according to you, Noah, what's the main impact of these exhibitions and these trade shows and all that? Do you think it's something which is really impactful to farmers?
Anything that farmers can get more information from is impactful. The only challenge with some of these exhibitions and trade fairs, as we saw one that passed, we managed to go there as a team, is that even the locations where they are is not a place accessible to farmers.
Absolutely.
And then something else, that some of the trade fairs are actually B2B, more of business to business, and not business to B2C, sorry, in terms of the customers being the farmers themselves. But again, it is a scenario where if this can be simplified so that a farmer does not need to travel to Nairobi for an agri-tech or an agri-function, and it can be done in the devolved counties, that would make sense. Yes. And then the innovation or whatever is being showcased has to look real. Sometimes,
All right, thank you so much on that. And of course, we'll be getting to look at the most trending stories as we continue with the program. Now, back to the food loss and waste. It is a big challenge in our time, and of course, in this 21st century. So, in the next coming 5 years, what do you think will be happening if we continue with this management of the food? And you can imagine how times are at the moment.
Let me tell you, John, something. we cannot continue the way it is, because history will judge us harshly. When I say history will judge us harshly, is because this particular topic that we are discussing has so many other factors that contribute to that. Remember, food security is not just about having food, it's about having affordable and safe food.
And accessible.
So affordable, accessible. So food has to be accessible, number one. The other one has to be affordable, number two. Then apart from that, it has to be safe, because that's food safety. The losses that we are seeing might not be because of that, of food. So we might get a place that is food secure, but you find that it is not, we are still getting losses. Okay, so when you talk about this, we also need to factor in that we are living in dire times in terms of climate change. So this calls for adoption of the climate conditions that are there. I was seeing in California the other day, they have told the California governor has actually said that do not water your lawns. Ukikuwa na ile manyasi ka lawn mzuri, don't water it, because they're having a crisis with water, and that is the developed world, So when it comes to Kenya and Africa in general, we have to ask ourselves, what can we do with the changing climate conditions? And it's moving from bad to worse. So is it seed varieties? Is it a hotly contested discussion of gene editing? What are we doing? What can we do differently? Adopting different taste buds. For example, if you've been eating a lot of wheat in terms of bread, can you change and start eating cassava bread? Or Jackie ametoroka hiyo story. So that those are the things that we ask farmers. Can farmers now start adopting to this? Yes.
All right, thank you so much for actually sharing some insight on that. Maybe you could add which are other available solutions to this, so that farmers can really reduce the waste of food.
Again, going back to what I was saying earlier, let us stop overhyping farmers to produce more without more than what they require to produce over a given time. The other thing is that let us also make sure that these farmers that we are talking to can be able to access some facilities, so they can be able to access some facilities. So if you look at it very critically and see that yes, they can be able to use to access these facilities, then automatically then then there is a problem. Okay, so facilities look like what is it called, like storage, cold storage. We have the charcoal storage facilities that are available, that farmers can be sensitized, because food losses is happening based on quality, post-harvest management or handling, and then next is transport and logistics to the market. Okay, so if we can be able to go around that and see how can we be able to bring these farmers closer together. Jackie had started the discussion, and can we bring these farmers and tell them, by the way, can you share a facility, a storage facility? Can you share a pickup truck to go to the market? Can you go back into all the cooperatives that we had? Then that way, then we can start telling farmers, these are the solutions that are available. This is who is providing these solutions, and you can be able to tap into this with little resources. The challenge is that everybody starting a cold storage wouldn't make sense.
All right, and just on that, before we move maybe to the next thing, maybe have you heard of a food recovery hierarchy? Maybe as a company that maybe could be set up to make sure that the extra food, the extra, let's say the maize, the produce could be utilized, maybe to and value added to make sure that it's not going to waste. Maybe we could have them as animal feeds, poultry feeds.
Yes, that's what I stand. Think about the circular economy in agriculture, where we call it farm to farm, so that whatever is going into waste is not thrown away, but it goes back into making probably fertilizer. You know, you can go and make compost with it,
Yeah.
and that compost becomes healthy soil for your farm, and that means that the next crop you use, you plant actually is a better crop.
Yeah.
So for me, I'm a strong believer, and it's something that I'm also practicing farm to farm, in that there's no loss.
Yeah.
That becomes part of now the compost that we use.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, thank you so much on that. Just getting to look at our trending stories. The World Food Organization, the Food and Agriculture Organization, in collaboration with the county government of Kisumu, has initiated programs that aim at promoting poultry keeping among smallholder farmers in the region. The organization is out to bolster agricultural production as a strategy to ensure food security, promote alternative income streams for Kisumu County. Now, Noah, looking at Kisumu County, and of course, which is a county that focuses more on fishing, what do you think will be happening now that they are having poultry keeping and all that being introduced into them?
Kisumu and Western Kenya is a huge market. Number one, you find tomatoes coming from where going there.
Yeah.
But one of the things that we can also do, but the disconnect again is that fish in Kisumu is even more expensive than fish in Nairobi. Very interesting. So what can be done from the short experience that I've had in farming is sensitizing farmers to test their soils, because their soils are also acidic, and their soils. So testing the soil, correcting that soil, start growing crops that are being consumed, because you'll find tomatoes definitely in Kisumu.
Yeah.
It's a fact. You'll find onions. Can that be grown there? You know, so that is one angle that you can look at. The other one is sensitizing, because you cannot even over-sensitize farmers on growing their own crops. It is something that is there. But at the same time, we also have the port that is the airport that has been opened, where cargo flights can land and can land and take off from. You know, so those are the ones that we can be able to start asking ourselves, what can we do with that? And we've seen some farmers in going on the way to Homa Bay. Even in parts of Kisumu, they're growing chilies. You know, we've seen that actually the first cargo flight that took off from Kisumu Airport was actually exporting chilies. Okay.
Yeah.
So now when it comes to poultry, that goes back into the circular economy in terms of agriculture, in that the waste from poultry is manure already for the farm. Okay.
Yeah.
So that can be done. So adopting it I think it is not hard. The only thing is that whatever you're adopting has to be something that is measurable, so that you can be able to manage it and scale it probably.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now, looking at the story at it, now it is a project that has targeted 10,000 farmers. And you know, obviously, it is a village which has so many farmers. So what should be done to make sure that all the farmers are sensitized, to make sure they can access this project, make sure maybe they could be supplied with the chicks, maybe they can access these grants? Yeah, what do you tell farmers today? Maybe what do they need to do to make sure that they get to access these grants?
To be able to access that, lazima ujitume. You have to. You have to send yourself.
That's fine, because somebody will understand it, right?
Lazima ujitume. You have to go out there and look for what, because if you don't do it, someone else is doing it.
Yeah.
For me, my motto in life is, if you don't do something, somebody else will do it. You know, and so you ask yourself, can I make sure that I'm done doing it? Okay, so that's number one. The other thing is that I don't think it's sensitizing farmers anymore. Farmers already know what they're supposed to do. I think it is showing them how it is being done. And showing them means getting some demonstration farms. It means getting some star farmers in the different villages, so that these are the farmers where people go and say, hey, you also did it. Yes, I'm doing it. It's here. I have chicken. For example, I met a friend of mine, and I got privileged to be able to visit him. It's called Kelvin Kea. And if you see what he's changing, the environment in and around his farm is amazing. Using clean energy, you know, adopting to fish farming, excellent keeping of poultry keeping as well.
Yeah.
And if that is done regularly, then and say that is a demo farm or a demonstration farm where other farmers can come and learn from, right at village level, then you start transforming that.
Right, thank you so much for really sharing your thoughts and insight on that. Just moving to another story before we get our guest Samuel online, we'll be talking about the youth embracing ICT in agriculture. And now, technologies and innovative farming practices have the potential to enhance agriculture sector's productivity and effectiveness. By this, the government is recognizing the potential in the use of data and ICT technologies in agriculture development by promotion of digital solutions, especially for youth upcoming farmers. And now, most farmers with an average age of 60 years old and young people pursuing non-agricultural careers are, as opposed to following in the footsteps of their grandparents, young people interested in the agriculture sector are now asking the policymakers to shift from just normal farming and embrace technology in order for them to venture into the sector, which is now feeding millions. So no, they say most of the youth today, they believe agriculture ni kujichafua, farming ni mtu hataki kuchoka and all that, but we've seen the technology come in. Do you think this technology is going to woo many people to really get into the farming?
No.
Or
it's a lie. It's a lie. It's a lie. Let me tell you the truth. Farming is not a clean job.
Yeah.
But it's not a dirty job. Remember, even an aeronautical engineer cannot be dressed in a suit. Atakuwa na overall akirepair ndege.
Yeah.
So it's not dirty in that si kazi safi, si kazi ofisi. It's not si kazi ofisi. Farming is not a white a collared tie job. No, it's not. Because it is a profession. For example, it is just regarded dirty because probably of some of those who are doing it are packaging it that way, and also it is actually something that has to change the mindset. I am a farmer. You will never see me dirty, very few times. But when I'm at my farm, I'm not dirty. It is my place of work. It's like a mechanic.
Yeah.
You cannot judge a mechanic by the fact that you saw him in an overall, oil spilling all over, and judge him that mechanics are dirty. No, so it's a mindset thing that has to be changed, and changed very fast.
All right.
Yes.
All right, thank you so much for sharing information about that. Now, back to our topic on the food loss and waste, and of course it's a big challenge which is affecting Kenya and the entire Africa. Now, we think it's about time we raise voices and stronger partnerships and more public-private investments to really chip into that. But how efficient do you think this is going to work? Because looking at it, farmers of late, some of them are ignorant. They don't want to listen to information. I mean, they cannot access information, and they're limited, of course, to getting some of these things. Kuna watu pale mashinani, kuna ule mkulima wamezaliwa, amekuwa akigrow knowing I can always farm maybe maize and that's all. They don't know anything else.
Just farm maize. If you've learned and you've perfected and you've learned how to grow maize, just perfect it. If an athlete has gone out and their work is to run 100-meter race, you will not find that even if he practices how, you will not find that athlete running a marathon.
But it's about now getting informed and maybe moving to more resilient crops, and of course which are making more money.
Yes, that is something that has to be adopted, and that is one of the things that we as farmers we are actually sensitizing farmers on adopting to seed varieties that or crops that are climate smart.
Yeah.
You know, and basic things like testing your soil, getting to use the right manure, right fertilizer, and all that is very important. It's very important. So if you look at it very critically, then that is something that can be done.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. Thank you so much on that, and we'll be joining Samuel Mwangi, who is an agronomist. He'll be talking to us more of the food laws and waste. And Samuel is a guy who has been in the industry for quite some time, and of course he will be joining us via phone call. Keep sending your requests and as well as your comments on Facebook, on Twitter, and on YouTube, and of course you can engage us on our number and I'll be sampling some of your comments right away.
Yes. So let us try and call him. Let us see if we get him on phone. Yeah, but again, as we look for wait for this guy for the guest. One of the things that is critical. Hi, how are you? Yes.
Yes, Samuel, welcome to the show this mid-morning, and thank you for joining us at this moment. Yeah, Samuel, we're talking about the food laws and food waste. I'm sure it's not a new thing to you, and I'm sure you know this thing. So according to you, what do you think about it?
Papai ni moja ya tunda mashuhuri kwa kiasi kikubwa nchini Kenya. Pia tunda hili linaweza kuwa na faida mbali na afya katika kukuza uchumi wa mkulima wa zao hili. Pia linaweza kuwa chanzo kikubwa cha pesa za kigeni kwa kuuza nje ya nchi. Uzalishaji wa papai nchini Kenya ni kwa kiasi kidogo ukilinganishwa na mahitaji ya watumiaji. Hivyo inahitajika nguvu zaidi katika uzalishaji wa zao hili.
Zao hili limeshamiri kote nchini kwa kutoa mavuno bora. Ungana nami niweze kufahamisha bayana na kwa undani kuhusu zao hili la paipai.
Eggplant is an elongated shaped and dark purple fruit, and its leaves are large, ovate and slightly lobed. Eggplant is a perennial crop but grown commercially as annual. Eggplant grows best in well-drained sandy loam or loam soil. The soil pH should be between 5.8 and 6.5 for best growth. Eggplant requires a regular watering and steadily warm growing conditions. Amaranthus, or locally known as terere, is a highly nutritious vegetable that is cultivated and consumed as a leafy vegetable in many parts of the world. It's easy to grow, matures fast, as it takes an incredible shorter period than most traditional crops. There are many species of amaranthus, with some green and others red in color. When growing amaranthus, ensure the soil is well drained and rich in phosphorus, and most importantly, ensure the seeds are well distributed to achieve an even spread when establishing a green amaranthus field. Amaranthus is especially loved for its tender leaves and for their healthy dose of ions, vitamins, and a range of minerals.
This is the Mid-Morning Show. This is the Mid-Morning Show.
Right, welcome back to Afarmers Media. We just after the break. It is exactly 40 minutes top of the hour, and of course 20 minutes to 12 p.m. where of course we'll be wrapping it up. And of course we are discussing about food loss and food wastage. We'll be talking to Samuel Mwangi, who is an agronomist from Some Agronomist, and of course he'll be sharing his insight about the food loss and what he thinks should be done to elevate or rather elevate the waste of food, which is currently much and not promising to the country. So before we just move to that, I would just like to get to the trending news happening right now before we get to a conversation with Samuel.
Kenny, let me ask you something. When it comes to the money that is allocated to support farmers, where do you think it goes? Because that is one of the challenges that is happening. Because agriculture is devolved, and you cannot say you've only devolved the production bit.
And even some agencies from outside country, they really support some of these agricultural cooperatives and all that, but real in the ground it doesn't get to the common farmers.
Yes, let's try getting.
But I think it is something I can say it's for survival for the fittest. Those who are already on the ground and those who are actually able and doing in large volumes are more likely to get access to this thing.
Hello.
Hello, hi.
I'm fine. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can get you loud and clear. How are you?
I don't know if our producer can get him.
Yes, can you confirm I can hear you?
All right, so Samuel, welcome to the program.
Yes.
Yeah, we're just on the third round, just finishing up to 12 a.m. We're talking about food loss and food waste. I'm sure it's something you've heard.
Yes.
Yeah, just to begin with, maybe talk to us a little bit about you, and of course I've seen you running a company by Some Organics, Some Agronomist. Talk to us about that as we get much deeper into that details.
Okay, thank you. First of all is to thank you for the opportunity. And my name is Samuel Mwangi. Professionally, I'm an agronomist. I usually market myself on Facebook platform where I call myself Sam the Agronomist. I also have a company that I'm just about to register and kickstart working.
All right.
That is called Samtech Agribusiness Solutions.
Yeah.
And so far so good because I also do greenhouse constructions and
Right.
management. I'm working with different clients on farm management where I'm managing onions, managing French bean. I'm also managing cucumbers and all those horticultural crops. I have numerous numbers of them I'm managing. And basically, I'm a youthful farmer.
Yeah.
And it is also a challenge to me that whereby we need more youths in agriculture. That is also to save on the topic of today about food security. Because if as youths and basically we all know that in Kenya youths we are very many.
Yeah, sure.
So it means if we come up together as young people, energetic people, and embrace these sectors of agriculture, then it will mean that there will be the problem of food security in Kenya and also in the rest of the world will be a thing of unheard of.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. Thank you so much on that. Now,
Simon.
Yeah.
Yes.
Let me ask you, what is the difference between food wastage and food loss?
Food wastage. The difference. Okay, from my point of view, food wastage is where the food does not reach the consumers. Maybe because of maybe it has been destroyed. That is through storage and processing. That is on the phases of distribution. So that is the first thing I can base my answers on food waste. So meaning waste food is that food that cannot be consumed by consumers. So that's why we say that food has been waste.
What about the loss?
Okay, food loss. This is where now food loss comes in the fact that food has not been maybe let me base my answers on maybe on the farm. So when you come to the farm, sometimes you find out that you've grown your crops, and then an occurrence happens. Maybe pest occurrence occur in your crop, and then all the food have been destroyed.
Yeah.
So that's where we now come. I now base my answers on that is when I could term it as food loss.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right, thank you for the explanation. Just before we get much deep into that, and what do you think are the main causes of this food loss and food wastage? Why are we getting ourselves into that?
Okay.
Yes.
And just to add on that also, is it who is contributing the most into getting the food insecurity? Or the food food wastage?
Okay, let me answer now the first question before I come to that. Now, some of the causes of food losses and wastage. Mostly food will be wasted or will be lost when we don't have maybe good storage structures or good storage services, when we don't have good transportation of food. So maybe to add on that, if maybe a certain food should be transported in this way, and then you transport it in another way that will make it get wasted, then that will cause food waste. If maybe we store food in ways that they are not supposed to be stored, by that we shall have food wasted or food getting wasted. Yes. So most people will okay. Can you kindly pardon the question that the last question?
Sorry.
Okay. Now there was another question that you asked. Maybe you can make me clear on it.
Yes. Is it what can be done to reduce food wasted?
Or rather, who is the main contributor in this?
The main contributor of
Food loss and waste, of course.
by that, I think we as human, we are the most cause of human waste. Because as a food, sisi ndio ambao tunahusika na hizi vitu.
Naam.
Kumaanisha sisi ndio tuko na zile njia zinafaa kufanywa ndio ile chakula isipotee ama isiharibike. So we as both consumers and the producers, we are the main cause of this food wastage. Yes, and I think this is because as a maybe myself, I'm an agronomist.
Yeah.
I'm in the front line to reduce this food waste. So I know and I have the ways that I should do before this food get wasted or before an occurrence of food loss happens. So in this way, how do as an agronomist, how do I avoid this? Maybe there is an occurrence of pests and diseases in my farm.
Yeah.
I think you'll understand I base my answers on as an agronomist and mostly on the farm. So how do I as an agronomist, how do I prevent this?
Yeah.
I should before now the food is wasted or there's an occurrence of loss of food. I'm supposed to take care of my crops so that they don't get things like diseases which will destroy them.
Yeah.
That's causing food loss. I'm supposed to come up with ways that will ensure that those pests are controlled on the farm, so
Yeah.
that there will be no occurrence of the waste. If it's a disease, I'm supposed to know which are the ways that that can be used to manage the occurrence of these diseases,
Yeah.
so that there will be no food loss. So as an agronomist or as a producer, I have so many ways and that I'm supposed to work on so that it does not lead to food loss. So basically my point is we as the consumer, okay, now as a consumer maybe you are the person who is selling them on the market and you are the person who is now buying my food,
Yeah.
now storing to your house. I'm supposed to know if it is these commodities that are bought,
Yeah.
this is how I'm supposed to store them so that they don't get wasted.
Yeah.
If you are the seller or those who are in the market, I'm supposed to transport my commodities in this way so that they don't get wasted in the process. So we the producers and the consumers are the most people who are contributing to food loss.
Yeah.
and waste.
So Simon, you've said many things. What I wanted to find out is that which regions and which crops tend to have a lot of food wastage.
Okay, the most food that are too much in the list of wastage.
Yeah.
These are the foods, for example, the perishable commodities.
That's like tomatoes, onions, watermelon. What else?
Watermelons. We have things like cucumbers and all that.
So let me ask you, Simon, why do you think, as an agronomist, why do you think county governments are not doing anything to support farmers based on the losses?
I think the reason most county government don't support this because in our sector, that is agricultural sector. Of late, there has been so many privatization. Things are so much on private sectors. Because as myself, as an agronomist, I so much find myself working on private sectors. More of the government should be in. Like there was a time I was working with the county government, and throughout my working experience there was no single day that I tackled on things like. Actually, I never had even one field of where the government is so much involved on these perishable crops, like you said, tomatoes and all that. There's no single time that I had anything to do with them through the county government. So the only things you could hear about them is coffee and those tea plantations, and of course those are they are not they are the latter. They used to be done.
So Simon, let me ask you a question that we've been asking a few farmers. Yeah.
Yes.
Do you think the food wastage in things like tomatoes, onions, watermelon, capsicum, is it because there's a hype? As in wakulima wameambiwa tu ukipanda mtapata pesa. Do you think that is one of the reasons why we are seeing a lot of losses? Because we were discussing here earlier and we are saying it's very rare to get a farmer planting cassava and even looking for market. So is it that there was a misinformation on the part of farmers?
Yes, I think I can say that there has been a problem because most Kenyan farmers nowadays are farming on what is giving them something in return.
Yeah.
So that is why when farmers are told that when you plant things like capsicum, you will fetch a good amount of money.
Yeah.
So that is when now you find most farmers will turn to capsicum production, and now when they turn to capsicum production in large numbers, that's when now you find that commodities become flooded in the market because so many people produced it. But the reason they produced it is because they were told, just like you said, they were told that at the end of it all you will get this after planting that.
Yeah.
So that is something that is making this food get wasted, because if many people are or maybe I come up with an idea that if you plant cucumber now, during the month they will be harvested, they shall go for good prices.
So in short tunasetiwa
Yes, munasetiwa because according to my point of view,
yes,
or what I usually advise my farmers,
yes,
let us not be timely farmers. Because being a farmer, it's just like being in any other profession or any other business.
Yes.
Because if we all farm because at a certain time there will be this, then we are not good farmers. Because being a farmer is you are a farmer just like a shopkeeper. Because right now in the country we are experiencing high prices in unga. So there is no particular shop that mtu alifunga because sahi ati mtu akafungua duka kwa sababu unga iko bei ya juu alafu ikienda chini afunge. No. If you are a good shopkeeper, you'll always be a shopkeeper throughout.
So what?
So the same thing that should happen in farming.
So what would you
farm? In a perspective of ati nyanya wa mwezi huu zitakuwa zina fetch a lot of money. Why don't we farm like you are a farmer year in year come because when you do that you will not experience the challenge of even the pricing, because like personally I also farm, and what I do, I make sure I'm in the market throughout the year, so that if at a particular time the prices of tomatoes are high,
yes,
I'm in the market. When they are low, I'm still in the market. So at least I'll be able to balance the profit throughout the year.
Yeah.
Instead of now farming with the perspective of during the month of December, there will be money.
Okay.
So what will happen to most farmers? They will farm tomatoes in large numbers of farmers, so that they try to satisfy the price in December. Now, whereby you find out that December there will be overflooding of tomatoes, which will lead to prices and lost.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. Now, looking at food loss and the food waste, of course, it's a big challenge in our time, right? So, from your point of view, what are the possible available solutions at hand?
So, the available solutions for food wastage and losses, I think the first one is the one that I've just talked about.
Yeah.
Simon, just to add on what you've said, who should take center stage? Whose responsibility is it to make sure that we are not having food losses? Is it the farmer, or is it seed companies? Who takes specific responsibility?
I think the person who takes the first responsibility for that
Mm-hmm.
is the farmers.
Mm-hmm.
They are the one producing these things.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So this is where now, like you've talked about cassavas,
Yes.
as farmers, I think there should be that division of farming in our country, because like you've talked, there is no way you'll ever heard of food losses in cassava. I've never had that, because even cassava is not even enough in our market.
Yes.
I hope you understand that.
Yeah.
But when you come to other horticultural crops, there are so many of them, and if they are not, at a given time, there are so many of them, because of the fact that we are doing farming because of a certain target
Mm-hmm.
at the end, and because we are the farmers who are producing these things. I think we are the first people who are supposed to now get to the drawing board and think about that, because we are the one who are producing. So if you produce, like you've talked, so the first solution should come from us, the farmers.
Thank you.
People who are directly involved in farming.
Thank you, Simon. Thank you, Simon, for your insights. I know we'll be getting in touch with you as well. So thank you very, very much.
I'm also thankful.
All right, and that is Simon Mwangi, an agronomist, and thank you so much for really sharing that information, and it was very vital, and I hope you farmers there and anyone else watching, you're keeping up to date with what exactly we are talking about. Don't forget to be always part of this discussion, pale Facebook, Twitter. Keep your comments there, and of course let us know where you're watching from and what you think about our topics of discussion, and what else you think maybe we should include programs for the betterment of you.
Yep. Thank you for having me today. Just to keep on encouraging farmers, just make sure that whatever we are doing is bringing us back to our farm to improve it, and not just to take out everything. If you've not tested your soil, test it, and also keep it here for information about climate action, mostly COP27, that will be happening later on in the year. And remember to follow our discussions, as we are also discussing the Africa Climate Week, which is happening in Gabon as well. Yes.
Oh, that's great. All right, thank you so much for watching. Keep it Afarmers Media. My name is John Matava.
This is the Mid Morning Show